Welcome back, YouTube. Goodbye, 2020. Welcome to the party, 2021. Menace is back with G and J. What's up, Jay?
What's happening? What's happening? Happy New Year to everybody, all your fams, all your favorite fighters, and all that. We're gonna get into that in a minute.
Happy New Year, fight fans. So, 2020 came in with a nice start for us. Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell for, I don't know, interim championship at WBC lightweight, or maybe for the number one contender spot for WBC at lightweight. Devin Haney has the WBC belt, right? We'll look into that. I think he does. Well, fight came on
with all the hoopla between him and Teofimo should be
right. So there's a lot of belts in the division that are floating around. And again, Ryan Garcia fought Luke Campbell for that spot, that number one contender spot. Today, I would say nighttime, but today at 3 p.m. the show started, and I believe they started at 5 p.m. So it actually turned out to be a good fight. Jay, what were your expectations going into this fight?
I already knew that Luke Campbell was definitely going to be Ryan Garcia's toughest test to date, especially with how Luke kind of pushed what's my man name? Matrix, pushed the Matrix to the limit, and he got hurt, but didn't knock him out. And for Ryan Garcia to get that done in an impressive fashion, I mean, I wasn't expecting him to throw what he threw, even though he was pretty much throwing everything, you know what I mean, and just turning things up. But definitely a good fight. I was expecting it to be a good fight, but I wasn't expecting the knockdowns when they happened. So it was just, it was all around good. I mean, I can't say I was surprised, but definitely an entertaining fight. I know everybody liked it.
Coming into this fight, Ryan, who hadn't fought anybody really, and that's why we felt this would be, a test for him. Luke Campbell being a gold medalist, I believe, in the Olympics, and fighting, the Matrix Lomachenko and giving him a hard test with, Lomachenko being a shorter fighter and moving up. I felt that this was going to be a test again for Ryan Garcia. But the attributes we saw from Ryan Garcia coming into this fight is that he's taller than most of the fighters at 135 lightweight division. He's faster than a lot of them. And he hits like a mule. We were questioning whether or not he had a good chin or not because he didn't fight anybody, if he was going to stay the same. And, to his credit, he stayed the same in good ways as far as his speed and power. And to his detriment, he stayed the same as far as, his flaws for the most part. So after the fight, I mean, for those who didn't see it, he was knocked down. What was the first round?
Second round.
Got caught. And we'll go into more detail about why he got caught here in a minute. He got caught, got back up in his first test, and went on to press, Luke Campbell the rest of the fight. Luke Campbell boxing and keeping him at bay while he's landing shots. And he finally lands his patented left hook to the body to stop him in what round? Maybe the fifth or sixth round?
Seventh round.
In the seventh round?
Yep.
In the seventh round, he stops him with a body shot. And if you saw it, he was overwhelmed with emotion. He started crying, just like we saw Adrian Bronner, I believe the first time he won a title, when we seen Floyd Mayweather beat some people rather easily. He may have cried. I know he cried against Gotti, and he cried maybe even against Genaro Hernandez and against Diego Corrales. Cried against Genaro, who gave him his first title shot, but was his first test and one of the few times he may have been an underdog going into the fight. I know he was an underdog, or at least even with Diego Corrales. And AD actually watched the fight with me, and she was like, "Why is he so emotional?" I mean, was he in jeopardy, or did something happen? Did he say something? No. When these fighters actually get the opportunity to prove, that they're worthy to themselves, oh, it's a great feeling. The money is coming. The fame is coming. The chances to fight and have great legendary fights that can lead to a legacy. Those things are coming, and he did enough, for those things to come to fruition.
I would agree.
Right. But after the fight, we got some other good news. We got the things that we really wanted. We came into this fight with expectations. The reason we watched this fight is because, again, it is in the lightweight division. In the lightweight division, you have Teofimo Lopez that fights with Top Rank on ESPN. He just beat Lomachenko, Vasily Lomachenko, who's also with Top Rank. I don't know how many belts. I know Lomachenko had one and Teofimo had a belt. So they both had a belt and they unified. And Teofimo Lopez beat him. So those are two fighters. Then you have Gervonta Davis, who fought Leo Santa Cruz for his WBA belt that he won from Yuriorkis Gamboa, or he didn't win it from him. It was like a vacant title that he fought Yuriorkis Gamboa for, and he fought Leo Santa Cruz, who is naturally a 130 pounder, for his belt. So there's three guys in the lightweight division. Then you have Devin Haney. Devin Haney has the actual WBC belt over at DAZN along with Ryan Garcia. And then you have Ryan Garcia. We were watching this fight because we got a lot of champions and we got a lot of contenders or fights that can happen for high stakes. And this was the last puzzle piece. And I think we found out a lot in this. And after the fight, they asked him, who do you want to fight next? Who do you want to fight next, Jay?
Well, first on the list, and he's saying he's a man of his word. He said he wanted to fight Gervonta Tank Davis.
Yes, sir.
Now, I think he got a little too much dip on his chip, but we're gonna see what's happening. And secondly, he said he wanted to fight Devin Haney, who was in attendance, and I believe he was in the front row seat. And they had some interaction. I didn't get to hear all of it, but it looked like they were both game and definitely respect each other, at least on camera. So I think it should be a nice little build up either way. Definitely better with Tank, with him having Floyd's backing and the production and the camera crew always being around. I believe Tank actually has his own little his own documentary series that's pretty entertaining, where he opens up a little bit more. And I think that's kind of where a lot of his personality is coming from, and his comfort in front of the camera now.
While Ryan Garcia fights on DAZN, his promoter is the legendary Oscar De La Hoya, who I believe won belts at 5 different weight classes. May have been 5, maybe 4. I know he fought at 130, 135, 147, 154, and I believe he won one at 160 when he fought Felix Sturm before he fought Bernard Hopkins. But that being his promoter, anytime you have someone with that level of popularity above you and drawing attention to themselves for not just good reasons, that brings more attention to you. So that's a notch on his belt as far as popularity. Before we even get into the social part, and then you have Tank Davis, whose promoter is Floyd Mayweather. I don't have to say much about him. We all know who Floyd Mayweather is. So if your question is why are we excited to see them two fight, because they're the two most popular lightweights in the world right now. I looked on Instagram and I knew Tank was popular. His pay-per-view numbers are pretty good, but on Instagram he has 2.5 million followers. He just boxes. He's not that good in interviews. He boxes and he has 2.5 million followers. Errol Spence, the guy, and we're gonna do a video about this. The guy who is now ranked in ESPN's pound for pound rankings as like number 2 above Terrence Crawford. ESPN did that. He only has like 700,000 followers on Instagram. So you're getting an inkling into what's really going on, or where the money may be floating to. Tank has 2.5, but you know how many followers Ryan Garcia has on Instagram? 7.8 million followers. I don't know if he was a pro before he became a YouTube sensation. But either case, if he chose to go pro as a result of that, it was a good choice. And that's why we want to see this fight, because whoever comes out this fight is going to be the A side, is going to bring the viewers, and we as boxing fans want the viewership to go up into boxing. We want more to talk about with you guys. We want to give you guys more content. We'll have more of an audience to give content to. And if these two guys fight, that's exactly what it will bring. Do you think that fight will be easy to make?
In a perfect world, yes. But do I think Ryan Garcia might say something goofy and piss Floyd or Gervonta off? Possibly. You never know in this new boxing age, man. They I don't know. Everybody wants to hold the keys and act like they're holding the keys. So hopefully, hopefully Ryan's newfound clarity about what he wants to do kind of makes this a little bit easier. and as far as the negotiations, I do see there being some push back and forth because Ryan does have some leverage there, but Tank definitely has earned his keep and has earned the A spot. So we'll see what they say at that table.
You're right. Tank has fought on pay-per-view and has proven numbers. He does have proven numbers that Ryan does not have yet. But we are dealing with Floyd, and Floyd knows how to play the game. If there's something to be gained for fighting someone, you don't always have to take, the toughest road. You don't have to always stick out your chest. Make your opponent as good looking as possible so people will buy in. At one time, Floyd did take the B side to the Gotti fight, even though he was tiers above Gotti. He did come in as a B side against Oscar De La Hoya, but I mean, of course, that's Oscar De La Hoya. If he has 7 million followers, I mean, we could do 50-50. Or I might go down a little bit because when I take your fans, and we're about to get into that, but if I take your fans, oh, how sweet that would be. And who would really be the A side moving forward in all of boxing events might be Tank or the winner of Tank Garcia. Who do you think wins that fight?
Before I get to that, I definitely think Ryan Garcia gained some fans tonight. Here's why.
Go ahead.
And you know what? With us complaining about the fight time, this might have been exactly what they was thinking about. Ryan, like you were saying, has 7.5 million followers right now.
Yes, sir.
With Luke Campbell, and most people don't really know how much of a star Luke Campbell is over there. Everybody in the UK knows who Luke Campbell is. So he's I would say he's a household name. You know what I'm saying? So Ryan might have gained 500,000 followers just now. Like that possibly could have just happened. So I mean, it could be chess moves. I mean, hopefully that's how they're moving, and get some type of paperwork done because I'm excited to see what's on the horizon for the kid. Even though he does need to do some improving on his distance, his defense, but I like what he's trying to do.
I'm looking at the time zone in London. I mean, the time in London right now, which is 1 a.m., is 8 here, and their fight premiered at about 3 hours ago. So that's 12, 11, 10. That was around the same time we see fights here in the U.S. So again, Jay had hit the nail on the head. It was a marketing move. If I'm going to have a fight happen with a prominent British fighter, why not give the British fans a chance to see this fight at the time they would normally see a fight, increasing the chances of high viewership. I heard recently that the Zone is launching their global initiative. So they're marketing to everyone. And when we're over here saying to US, we fight in US at our times. And if you are a US superstar, you are a world superstar. It looks like, the European base or the Zone is not looking to beat us with talent. They're looking to just globalize, period, and get so much viewership and attendance that they can become, power brokers in this arena fighting by just sheer number. Just saying, we have this to give you. How about coming to terms with us instead of us always coming to terms with you? And then maybe they can get their fighters in position. But yeah, you did say Ryan Garcia did surprise you in some ways before we got into who would win. So let's get into what you saw from Ryan in the fight. First, good things. What did you see from Ryan in the fight?
To be honest, I was expecting him to be a little bit more patient coming out in the first round. I said, "Oh, he gonna fight him like he fight everybody else, huh? All right, we gonna see about that."
Right.
And we got what we was expecting. And from our previous videos, I did say that Luke was probably gonna touch him early, and I wanted to see how he was gonna react. And he reacted way better than I thought he was gonna react. Because I mean, any other young fighter getting knocked down in the second round, that's an issue. That's a very big issue, especially being on that level for the first time. I mean, the kid is a YouTube sensation, but that is nothing like being under the lights. That's very different. And he proved something tonight. And on top of that, he gave a hell of an interview afterwards, which let me see some of the poise. I mean, a lot of that's excitement, but to be that excited and say what he said and interact how he did, very impressive.
So he came in, he came with the same level of confidence. And I mean, being a internet sensation or direct to consumer user, with social media and connecting with people on a regular basis and being in front of camera on a regular basis, the interview part was, up to par or even above what we normally see with recent or the contemporary fighters. And that's actually a good point. You have a guy who is already a star in front of the camera, and you put him back in front of camera after a fight, not looking that bad. You kept the waft in his hair as he went into the fight, and I mentioned. So you bringing the star power back to boxing, which was the case because they mentioned Sugar Ray Leonard and Oscar De La Hoya, the pretty boys, the guys with the
Right.
commercial, the guys that brought the girls to the fights, and he showed up and showed out in that department. On my end, um, again, coming to the fight, I saw they had a power advantage over the fighters he was fighting. They were cab drivers. I saw that he was way faster than them. They were cab drivers. I saw that, his technical ability was better than theirs. They were cab drivers. So he come into this fight, and I saw that his speed and his power was enough to drive a better boxer, a boxer with better pedigree and better experience back on his heels the whole fight. While he did knock him down in the second round, Luke Campbell knocked Garcia down in the second round. He never looked completely comfortable to me. He looked like he could set traps, but it didn't look to me that he was confident that they would do anything to keep Garcia off of him or that it would be enough to stop him. It was looking to me that he was biding time into the late rounds, and he was even surprised at some of the things he threw landed, but he sat on his laurels, when he needed to. Um, so again, speed and power being there, I was pleasantly surprised, and those were pluses for him. And I think that's going to be a plus for him in the fight with Tank. But what flaws did you see?
With him being so aggressive, I mean, I've always said this about Ryan Garcia. With him always fighting shorter fighters, typically he is way too comfortable with his chin being as high as it is, and it got checked very early. If they do not get that under control right now,
Right now,
Tank, Tank is going to knock him clean out. Tiafimo is going to knock him clean out. Devin might take him a whole 12 and hurt him. So that's the first thing he needs to get in control. Second thing he needs to get in control is using his range the right way while moving his head. Now, moving your head in the Reynoso camp, why this is not something he does on the regular, I am so baffled by that. But like he has the speed, but he relies way too much on his athleticism, and that is always the downfall of athletic fighters. So we're gonna see what happens because
we're going to.
Canelo looked like he was gonna punch him in the locker room because he was not pleased by that. I could tell he was not excited during not one point of that fight.
We saw in real time what trainers say a lot about fighters. You can't change a fighter. They're going to revert back to, the way they were
Comfort.
raised in the boxing game, their tendencies. And like we've been saying, like you reiterated, that boy's chin is all the way in the air. He does not move his head at all. He does not bend his knees. I I, I'm surprised he doesn't have arthritis in his knees. He's just standing straight up. It's like his legs just like this the whole time. I'm like, oh my God. After Luke Campbell knocked him down with that left hand, I saw him setting it up the rest of the night. He could have just threw it. He was gonna land it, but he didn't want to get back. He wanted an absolute guaranteed connection if he was going to throw his punches, and then he would wait, which is somewhat of a tendency or a character trait we see a lot in European fighters. Well, the British fighters, the more Western European fighters. So I think we have the same flaws: not moving his head, and his technical ability. Again, I said his technical ability was way above the fighters he was fighting before. Maybe it wasn't. There was no jab. There was no ring generalship. He did not, other than pressing, he did not pick a side. He didn't take his. The one thing you like to point out, and you notice a lot in fights where they're fighting two different stances, orthodox versus southpaw, is that he was never. I never saw him try to take the outside angle with his foot that was closer to get closer to Campbell to get that right hand in. Um, when he had Campbell against the ropes, the combination selection was again a lot out of anxiety. His first big fight, but the body shot he knocked him down with, that body shot or knocked him out with, stopped him. That body shot was there the whole night against the ropes. So I don't know if these things, going back to the point about Canelo getting mad at him and him just now getting with the Reynosos, I don't know if he's going to fix that. But that's why the casual fans are going to buy it, because Tank gets hit, Garcia gets hit. Tank is bigger, fat. His hand speed might be faster, especially combination wise. He has longer reach, and I would say he has more power at 135. And Tank is super slick. He can set you up. He is sneaky, and he's deceptively strong. You look at him, he looks like any other boxer with the slickness, but when he gets inside, the way guys' bodies move and their heads move when he hits them, I mean, it's eye popping. It's eye popping. But not at 130.
It's dramatic for sure.
It's so I hope to God that I ain't gotta hope, because 2021. And again, 2021 is coming in for us. I feel it. It's in the air. Floyd Mayweather, as Leonard Ellaby, CEO of Mayweather Promotions, has been clamoring about, is that they are going to make that fight. They've been planning this fight for years. I wouldn't be surprised if they're working behind the scenes with the Zone as well, trying to get this fight going. Oscar De La Hoya and Mayweather Promotions will make a ton. They need to put one of those Power Brothers on the undercard. Put Jake or whoever. These are two young guys who have the pulse of youth. They have their viewership, they have their attention, they are into new things or creative things. They don't shy away from attention. I can see them doing some circus act or bringing something crazy to make this fight even bigger and blow this up to the. I say 1 million views. What do you think? How many views do you think this fight will get?
I say at least 700,000.
Oh yeah, 700,000. I go with that. And anyone,
I wouldn't even say at least. I'll just say in that window.
Right. I feel at least 700,000. There's no way in the world this fight is going to do anything below 500,000 views. There's no way in the build up, and Ryan Garcia's reach as far as social media is concerned. Oh my, come on. The contrast and personalities, the contrast and backgrounds, the whole Latino. Oh my God, money is coming back. Errol Spence
First big fight of the year.
Mm-hmm. At least the one they may announce. There's a lot of fights on the horizon, and we won't get into those. So we think Ryan Garcia's next fight will be against Gervonta Davis. We mentioned the other fighters like Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Vasily Lomachenko in the weight class as well. We'll talk about the state of that weight class for 2021, but hopefully the Zone, ESPN, PBC, and Showtime come out, and Fox come out with some fight schedules within the next month or so, and we can see what we're really getting into. But again, 2020 has come in with style. This was a good fight. I think the post-fight interview, and you believe it was great as well, and it brings some anticipation going to the next fights. Anything to leave off with, Jay?
Not really. I think we got everything out there, but I really hope that the other fighters kind of jump on this. A lot of times, at year's end or year's beginning, however we want to look at it, a lot of fighters tend to take their vacations and it's quiet for like a month or two. But this is the perfect time to make that noise. Even if you are on vacation, post something every day. Just keep yourselves on everybody's mind until the next big fight. That's really important in this super digital age right now in quarantine. Not in Texas, but everywhere else.
Okay, guys, look, we're on Twitter now. Minnesance on Twitter. It is at ME_Assance, Minnesance. So check us out on there. We'll start posting on there as well. 2021, we're going to start changing up some things. We're going to start doing different things, interviews, more reviews, and of course, our regular sports commentary and other social events. keep in touch with us on YouTube as well. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you share, make sure you argue, do anything. Just give us that attention. 2021, Menace is here, and we out.